Henry. My lines. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Kath. Many thanks to the design team. Thank you so much. Good day, SEIU. Buenos dias. Bonjour. I wish you could see what I see right now. I see 1,800 delegates elected to serve 2.1 million members from the US, Canada, and Puerto Rico. I see the front lines of healthcare, government services, property services, working people that are proud to do their work every morning despite these incredibly tough times. I see the rainbow of our world. Black, brown, white, Asian, Native American, immigrant from all nations of the world, retirees, millennials, women, men, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and straight, Republicans, Independents, Democrats, every religious belief, each of us bringing our respective strengths from our identities, from our customs and cultures into this incredibly proud and strong national leadership team, a united force for change. I am so proud to stand before you today as the first woman to be elected president of SEIU. But I know that I do not stand here alone. I stand on the shoulders of many of you who gave me a hand up, and you and I stand on the strong shoulders of people that came before us. You people who had the guts to act from a belief that all people deserve dignity and respect. People who had guts to stick their necks out and form a union and say, I am worth something. I deserve better. Our union was born out of that belief. From immigrant flat janitors in 1902 on the south side of Chicago, who stood up to their tenant owners and said, enough is enough. We deserve better. Our union stands on the shoulders of brewery workers from Toronto in 1904 who said, enough is enough. We deserve to be treated better than the horses that deliver the beer. We stand on the shoulders of the brave men and women in Puerto Rico who in 1989 stood up to the corporate allied government and had 200,000 people pour into the streets to defend working families and all of us to fight for a better Puerto Rico. We stand on the shoulders of immigrant clothing and textile workers in Chicago, Paterson, New Jersey, and New York City, who said one day, We are not going to allow another worker to lose their life in the service of the profits of those owners. I am so proud to be part of a union that lives the values of our founders: dignity, respect, equality, and justice. Those values are embedded in all of the accomplishments we've been celebrating this morning at this convention. Our public service members have been trying against the odds to maintain effective public services in cities and schools and clinics and parks and so many other settings. They've been standing up against right-wing attacks to take away their voice. And even as these attacks intensify, our public service division is reaching out to non-union workers who are serving the developmentally disabled, mental health care, higher education, and child care, so that non-union workers can have a voice too in the services they deliver. The entire SEIU family should be incredibly proud that our public service members fight all across North America and Puerto Rico to get the 1% to invest in a government that works for working people. Thank you, public service members. Our healthcare members led the fight to extend healthcare insurance to 31 million more Americans in 2010. Yeah, that is a big deal. And today, the rest of the SEIU family needs to have the backs of our healthcare members who are on the front lines working to protect, defend, and expand the Affordable Care Act. They have linked arms with our brothers and sisters in Canada who are fighting right-wing efforts to also erode the universal health care coverage that our Canadian brothers and sisters have fought for and won decades ago. But our entire SEIU family can be incredibly proud of the doctors, registered nurses, respiratory therapists, technical workers, service workers, nursing home workers, home care workers who are fighting to create a 21st century healthcare system that will get all of us healthy and bring down costs and ensure that each and every human being gets the care they deserve. Our Property Services Division continues to defy the odds by taking on the 1% and winning good jobs in bargaining this past year for 150,000 janitors. They are joined by 30,000 security officers who didn't have a union just a few years ago. And they will be joined by 50,000 more security officers over the next 4 years. That's a remarkable achievement. Our union can be incredibly proud. That private sector security officer campaign could be one of the largest private sector organizing campaigns in the next 4 years, and it will lift minimum wage, no benefit jobs into family wage jobs that people can raise their families on. Our South-Southwest locals grew by 90,000 workers thanks to the national commitment we all made in 2004. Combined with the blood, sweat, and tears of the South-Southwest leadership in this room, our entire union can be proud of the leaders with the yellow scarves who are organizing and building the union in the toughest turf in the country. We salute the South-Southwest locals. Our political program continues to grow with member leaders expanding their development, COPE sign-ups increasing, and members stepping up to run for office. we've continued to expand our union's commitment to making sure we are lifting up and empowering the voices of our Latino, African American, and Asian Pacific Islander communities, those communities that need to have the force of say in our democracy. And for the first time ever, we are building a political program in Puerto Rico around the Puerto Rico vision for a civil society. Our leaders in Canada are mobilizing entire provinces around our healthcare, our vote. And our entire union can take great pride in the all-out effort that is underway right now to galvanize millions of voters on the issues that our communities care about to re-elect President Barack Obama in 2012. Now, in 2011, a year during the worst attack on workers' organization in the US in our generation, our union grew by 57,000 new members. And we celebrated earlier, but let's do it again at our family reunion. We brought in 293,000 more workers over the past 4 years to our great family. And the amazing thing about our family is we made those gains even as we retooled our organizing program to try and meet this incredibly important historic moment. We redeployed resources to a multi-city strategy called the Fight for a Fair Economy that has already helped to change the debate and joined with the Occupy movement in changing the national conversation. Time and again, when somebody says, "Oh, that can't be done," SEIU makes it happen. We have a track record of success. We're entitled to have a little bit of swag. And that is a tribute to each and every one of the member leaders in this room. You created that track record of success. And it's a tribute to millions more at home. But it's also a tribute to two leaders who helped build the modern SEIU. In 1984, a local union president in Pennsylvania at Local 668 was recruited, all right, 668, was recruited by then International President John Sweeney to be the SEIU organizing director. SEIU had 800,000 members when he started as organizing director. And when he left as international president, SEIU had 2.1 million members. He led us through bold action, through to New Strength Unity, a program that transformed SEIU into the fastest growing union in North America. He opened up many new fronts, like global organizing and an investment in the South-Southwest. His presidency hardwired risk-taking and organizational change into our union. He played a leading role in our union's successful fight to win the Affordable Care Act. He called on us time and again by asking, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? I'm so proud that Andy Stern could be with us here today. As Andy Stern led the transformation of our union, Anna Berger strengthened it. As Secretary-Treasurer, Anna's leadership improved innumerable corners of SEIU. But her signature contribution was the expansion of our union's national political program. It is because of her tireless dedication and her incredible tenacity in insisting that workers' voices be heard in our democracy that our union is today known as a respected advocate of working people. I am so proud that Anna Berger could be with us here today. Now, brothers and sisters, it's up to us to put the assets of this incredible organization to use in the service of a mission to create a path to a just society. Each of you has been elected to set the direction of this union for the next 4 years. And I believe the decisions we make at this convention will determine the future for the next generation. That direction needs to get set through the debate and discussion here. We know what the problems are working people face today. Our communities are at the epicenter of the crisis. We don't need research and polling to know what the problems are. We see it in the eyes of our children. We see it in the eyes of our parents. And you know it from the people that you serve every day. The gap between the rich and everyone else grew because of a 40-year coordinated attack from the right wing to take from the 99% and give to the 1%. The system is rigged in favor of the rich. Our democracy is broken. The 1% is trying to dismantle any form of worker organization that can resist their agenda. In the past year, 2.5 million workers' collective bargaining rights have been taken away or dues stopped or elimination of a say in the democracy. Hundreds of thousands of women could lose access to health care this year if policies that are being passed in states go into effect. 5 million people have been struck from the voter rolls in the United States of America, struck as a result of laws requiring photo ID. This means that the communities that made a decisive difference in 2008 election, mostly poor, elderly, mostly African American, mostly Latino voters, will now have to jump through hoops just to exercise a right to vote that people died for years ago. Our environmental protections, our LGBT non-discrimination, they're all getting rolled back. And you and I both know this is just the tip of the iceberg. And these are not random acts. We are seeing the culmination of a 40-year coordinated plan energized by a Supreme Court decision that allows the 1% to buy an unfair tax system, to finance a relentless attack on all of us and our communities, to drain our public education system, and to dismantle and destroy workers' organizations. The Wisconsin governor, Scott Walker, says in a new video that the strategy of the right is to divide and conquer. Now, did they have to make a video to explain that to us? Walker and his pals are stepping up their divide and conquer tactics by using the use of race as a fault line to divide us. From thinly veiled racist attacks on our president to the demonizing and racial profiling of immigrants in Arizona, South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. We've also seen the Republican candidates fight not for a better future for all working families in this country, but to see who can outdo each other, to see who can be the most anti-immigrant. Our union fiercely opposes these actions, and we will fight to eliminate racism. Our union fiercely opposes these actions, and we will fight to eliminate racism because it's the right thing to do and because it's required for all of us to win together. Scott Walker knows, just as the right knows, that if we, all of us, could unite to create one forceful justice movement, they would be out of business. And you know why? Because there's more of us than there are of them. I see you. I see the 99%. I see the 99%. You are fierce. Imagine. And over the past 40 years, leaders within the labor movement have hunkered down and tried to protect and defend the members we represent and bargain for. And this is really important to do, but we believe that it is no longer enough. We can no longer win one battle at a time. Our union has to unite with a broad 99% movement to tackle all forms of social inequality. And we need to decide to take primary responsibility to lead on closing the gap between the rich and everyone else. We can revitalize the American labor movement and get millions of workers collectively bargaining again so we can lift wages for all families. We are the richest nation on earth. It is inexcusable that 25 million people are looking for full-time work when corporations are earning record profits. It is inexcusable that 1 in 5 children in our nation are going to bed hungry every night when luxury items are being sold at an all-time high. Enough is enough. We have had it. It's outrageous. It's time that it come to an end. We can inspire millions more to join unions. We can inspire tens of millions more to join a 99% movement to get our world back on a path to a just society. And we have horns to accompany us on our path. So we're going to have some fun along the way. The solution is clear. The 99% need to unite. We need to lead, unite, fight, and win for the 99%. We need to unite in our workplaces. We need to unite at the polls, and we need to unite in the streets. We can spark an organizing movement. We can inspire workers everywhere to stand up and fight for good jobs. It doesn't matter what industry they work in or what union they join. What matters is that the 99% join together to tackle the 1%'s power, and that all of us in the 99% movement need to see workers forming unions and collectively bargaining, being able to lift wages again, not just for ourselves, but for all workers in the economy. To those who say it cannot happen, I say SEIU has made it happen time and time again. I've had the privilege of seeing it with my own eyes. We brought together hospital workers throughout California. When organizing a healthcare system all at once, people said, "Oh, that can't be done. Nobody's ever done that before. What are you talking about?" And when we settled the first contract for 18,000 workers covering 22 hospitals, where workers won 18% wage increases and fully paid family health care, guess what happened? 200,000 non-union workers in Southern California had their wages increased by 7%, and employers gave them employee-only health care for the first time in their lives because union workers had the guts to stand up, stick their necks out, join together, collectively bargain, and win a contract. And then we made it possible for so many others. I feel so fortunate that I had that experience because I know that's not an experience that all workers have had across our economy. Because the last time wages were rising across the economy was in 1974, when 30% of the workers in the US economy were collectively bargaining. Wages were rising for everyone. We have to make that happen again. The solution is clear. We need to lead, unite, fight, and win for the 99%. We need to win in the workplace, we need to win at the polls, and we need to win in the streets. The 2012 election in the United States presents us with a crystal clear choice about whose vision for America the majority of the people in our country want to live in. The 1% Romney vision or the 99% Barack Obama vision? Our Puerto Rican and Canadian brothers and sisters have upcoming elections that face very similar choices with different names. We all have to connect the issues that our communities care about to the leaders we elect into office. We want to connect the re-election of President Barack Obama to the issues that our communities care about, a 99% agenda for change, a lot of which we heard this morning. We want good jobs now. We want everybody to pay their fair share. We want to restore government and health care, and we demand a pathway to citizenship for all immigrants in this country. Si se puede, si se puede. When we make this connection to the issues that our communities care about, we can show the voters who are discouraged, disappointed, full of despair about how bad the economy is for them and how broken our democracy is, that we can fix this if we unite together in the 99% and get to the polls this November. Coming out of Denver, every U.S. delegate needs to leave on fire in making the winning of the re-election of President Barack Obama our union's #1 priority. Brothers and sisters, the solution is clear. We need to lead, unite, fight, and win for the 99%. We will... Lead, unite, fight! Lead, unite, fight! Lead, unite, fight! Lead, unite, fight! And we're going to do that with non-union workers. We're going to do that with voters going to the polls. And we're going to do that by keeping all those workers and community people and voters that we've organized as a strong force that stays in the streets in 2013 so we can win our demands on this 99% agenda. We are going to hold every elected official's feet to the fire and make them send them packing if they stand for the corrupt practices of the 1%. We have got to hold them accountable. And the solution is to unite the 99%. And that calls for each and every one of us in this room to lead. One thing we know, based on our history in this union, is we cannot spark an organizing movement without hundreds of thousands more leaders inside our union and inside the broader justice movement being willing to step up to a new level of leadership so that we can expand the 99% movement for change. I was so inspired as I traveled around our union preparing for this convention about the hundreds of members that automatically put their hand in the air and said, I am willing to take personal responsibility for helping to create this change in our country and in our union. I will help mobilize hundreds of thousands of new leaders and activists inside our union. And we have to leave this convention on fire, prepared to do things in ways that we've never done before. And I know many of the people in this room, as we saw in this morning's video, have engaged in direct action for the first time in your lives. And we're going to need to go inspire additional members and leaders all throughout our union to do that kind of action in order to get our agenda met. You and I know that the SEIU engine has been running pretty well. We've got a good bargaining cylinder, a good representation cylinder, a great organizing cylinder. We got a good political cylinder. We're going to add 2 more cylinders to our engine as we leave this convention. 1 is on direct action and mobilization, and 2 is on movement building with our partners to create a 99% movement force for change. And we have to do this by organizing outside the bounds of our contracts and local unions. We're going to call upon every member leader in this room, not just to organize at work or in your neighborhood, but to establish personal networks that include family, friends, and neighbors and coworkers to demand justice together. We will focus on developing leadership at every level of our union so that our organization reflects the rich diversity of our members and the communities we serve. We will nurture all the leadership potential we have from our members, retirees, staff, our young emerging leaders, local union executive boards. We all have to step up and build the most inclusive leadership we can be so that we can represent the 99%. This moment calls for the highest level of unity. It's time for us to reassert what we learned from our families, from our house of worship, and by schools. that we're all in this together. We have a responsibility to each other, and that we can achieve more together than we can by ourselves. We can trigger a surge in organizing. It's happened before. The civil rights movement created a surge that changed racial attitudes and made new laws. The anti-war movement created a surge that required our country to withdraw from Vietnam. The farm worker movement created a surge that allowed tens of thousands of workers to have their wages and conditions improved in the fields of California. The LGBT movement has created an incredible surge just recently in celebrating our president's commitment to marriage equality and the basic dignity of all people in this country. But, brothers and sisters, the last organizing surge was in the 1930s. And I'm calling on the leaders of SEIU to commit ourselves to revitalizing a workers' movement by creating the conditions for millions of workers to be able to join hands together and lift wages again so that we can create good jobs that people can raise their families on once again. The solution is clear. We need to lead, unite, fight, and win for the 99%. When I think about this moment for working people, I often think about the words of my mother, who I'm blessed to have in the hall with us today. As my mom and I would leave church with my 9 brothers and sisters, I was always the one pulling at her sleeve, saying, "Can they really get water from a stone?" And she'd say, "You've got to have faith." And it was always the same answer, no matter what question I had. Loaves and fishes, on and on. And SEIU, I can't tell you exactly how we are going to create these conditions to organize millions more into a broad workers' movement and then bigger justice movement. But what I can tell you is that our union has taught me that if we believe in each other, if we have each other's backs, and if we link arms knowing that there is strength in our numbers, we can make anything happen. This convention will ask each and every delegate in this room to accept personal responsibility to lead members, neighbors, and family, to unite with the broader 99% justice movement, and to fight for a just society so that we can all win for the 99%. But it doesn't just stop here. We must continue the conversations that we're having these days in Denver when we go back home, inside of our family homes, inside of our local union halls, every neighborhood, every workplace, with our friends. because you and I know that the path before us is pretty clear between now and November 6th in the US. But then, after that, the signs get a little harder to read. Now, we have a track record of success, and we have each other. And that's what reminds me about the story when Moses heard the voice of God tell him to go back to Egypt and lead the Jews out of slavery. And when the hour appeared at its darkest, and when their faith had been tested, and brothers and sisters, you've all had these moments in this room, the sky broke, and the path became clear, and the Jordan River appeared. And one person stepped forward. His name was Nahshon. He was the first person to walk into the Red Sea. And according to the Jewish holy books, he had such faith that he walked into the Red Sea until the water was at his shoulders before it parted. Brothers and sisters, at this moment in history, we all have to be Nahshon, which means that it's not only about whether we believe, but whether we will initiate and lead. I'm asking all of us in this room today to have that level of faith, and that we can work toward a just society where all workers are valued. And brothers and sisters, it makes my blood boil to see the level of disrespect for work that is happening all around us. And our vision includes that every human being deserves respect. And you and I know we are having a war with the 1% over being respected. Our families and communities deserve to thrive. How about a paid vacation? How about family sick days? It's not too much for us to expect that our families and communities can thrive. And we are going to use every last ounce of our energy in this union to ensure that the next generation has a more equal and a better world to live in than the one we are in now. Sisters and brothers, this is our moment. This is our time. And together, the SEIU family, we can make anything happen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, brothers and sisters. This purple dip set looks so good from up here. The energy and the passion is #1 in our movement. Little horse from the rally earlier. My name is Tyreek Lee. I'm a proud Vice President of 1199 SEIU, United Healthcare Workers East. Over the past year, 6 SEIU locals partnered with community artists to put together our Cultural 2012 program for the International Convention. featuring musical numbers, dance performances, photograph, videos, and paintings. These pieces bring to life the stories and struggles of our members and working families who are going to lead, unite,